Hello everyone, my name is Kai. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's episode, we'll be interviewing my friend Kyle Zhang, who's the founder of LineupsValorant. He is currently a junior at the University of Pennsylvania studying computer science and entrepreneurship. He has a background within quant research, product development, data science, computer science, full stack software engineering, and he has built his own platforms, most notably LineupsValorant. Hello everyone! Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm here with Kyle Zhang, and we'll be discussing a bunch of things about his life, startup, Valorant, gaming, as well as college at UPenn and within the M&T program. So I'm really excited to welcome him here, and we'll start off with a few introductions. So my name is Kai. I'm currently a senior at Wharton studying finance and computer science. I'm a Questbridge scholar, and I'm also going to Ecuador, actually leaving today to go on a little expedition trek. So I'm super excited.
Dope. I'm Kyle. I'm currently a junior at the M&T program here at UPenn. I'm studying CS and entrepreneurship, very into startups and all that kind of stuff, and have been interested in games my whole life. So there we go. Let's get started.
Let's get into it. So I wanted to ask you, what was your childhood like, and what, I guess, got you to go to UPenn, and did you start gaming when you were younger? How did all that form?
Yeah. So it all starts with a mobile MOBA called Vainglory. I played it with my friends in middle school, 6th grade. That's where I got my gamer tag from, Riptide, and my whole competitiveness / having fun / just being in the, gaming ecosphere, and just trying. And for the longest time I wanted to compete in esports, so that there was also that too. But yeah, so it starts from Vainglory, a mobile game, and then went to this other mobile game called Critical Ops. They all died, unfortunately, but I guess I just keep hopping on whatever games are very fun to me. But in high school I got a PC. Then I started playing Rocket League a lot, and that's my mostly played game to this day. I have around probably 6,000 hours now soon.
Jeez.
Crazy. Yeah, it's it's been 7 years since freshman year of high school as of today, for me. And if you think about 6,000 hours, it's I don't know, 6,000 hours.
That's halfway to full master, because you know how they say 10,000 is that number.
Yeah. I'm pretty high ranked. I wanted to go pro in Rocket League, but before I went to I guess I tried to make that decision before I came to college, but I decided on airing towards college, which I think is the safe play, is the right play actually.
Gotcha.
Because over COVID, COVID was when I played a lot, right? It's COVID, and I did start to get a little burnt out, if trying to force myself to play more, if I wanted to get better. So I was I don't want to do that. So.
Gotcha. And then just to give more context, did you attend school in the States or international, and what else did you also do in high school?
Yeah, also in high school I played varsity tennis, so that was really cool. Built a community. I guess that's kind of sports is where you learn leadership, healthy competitiveness / sportsmanship, and just a cool community, in my opinion. Yeah, so that's what I appreciate tennis and high school sports about. What else? Other than that, I was pretty just locked into studying / making, at the time in high school, making really cool apps, which eventually turned into a cool website that I made for the Valorant community that has a few million visitors per month now. It's still growing, but yeah.
Where did you attend high school?
I attended high school in Portland, Oregon. It's this public school called Lake Oswego High School. Yeah, I think it's ranked one of the best public schools, at least in Oregon, which is probably a big factor to getting into UPenn, of course. But then again, what's it called? It is Oregon, and the standards are much lower in Oregon in terms of schooling. The state of Oregon, at least, doesn't mandate kids be able to know how to read after college, after high school, which is pretty interesting.
Like, there's no like reading level or no like math level like required for.
Yeah, so there'd be like the state test that everyone needs to take just for the state to know how well the kids are doing.
But you don't need
But
to pass
yeah,
it.
you don't need to pass it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So like, was it very rare for someone like you to go to Penn or like an Ivy League?
It was pretty rare, yeah. But our school, at least, since it was like one of the best like public schools, we'd send like I'd say per grade, there would be 300 like kids. Per grade, there would be like 3 to 4 that go to Ivies, and maybe one of them goes to Penn.
So that's like
Yeah.
so it's not I mean, it's not impossibly rare, but it is
Yeah.
super rare.
That's
to
true.
Go. Okay.
And the demographics would be like all of them would be Asian, and then maybe one white person.
How about your high school? Was that also very much predominantly like white or Asian or?
It was
like,
predominantly white, probably at least 70 to 80% white,
Mhm.
and then 10% Asian. That's all I know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then, so you played a lot of like video games, Rocket League. Did you ever play like CS:GO or like how did you come to do Valorant? Because I feel like I don't know what Vainglory or Critical Ops is, but I would assume that those games are very much unlike Valorant.
Yeah. Okay. So Vainglory is like League of Legends
Yeah.
on mobile,
Gotcha.
and Critical Ops is like CS:GO / Valorant on mobile. Which
Okay.
is how I did get into CS:GO once I got the PC.
Gotcha.
And then once Valorant came out, I was like, yeah, Valorant.
Gotcha. So did you start playing Valorant in high school?
I'd say yeah. When it came out during COVID, yeah, I was like sophomore year of high school.
Gotcha. And then you were like building a bunch of different apps and projects while in high school. What were like
Yeah.
some projects that you've worked on, and how did that like, I guess, add to your computer science knowledge?
Yeah, so I always look okay, so during high school at least, I've always loved just like math in general, math
Mhm.
and computer science. I was like an absolute nerd, I guess, in a sense. And then actually what happened was after my sophomore year, in between sophomore and junior year, the summer, I actually got recruited onto like a mini quant internship, and I was like, holy shit, like this is kind of cool.
In high
And-
school, jeez.
Yeah, I was that much of a nerd, and then I was like, this is really interesting. I could actually like, I wouldn't say quant is like contributing to the world, but like I felt like I was bigger than myself at that point because like I was contributing to like a team. I wouldn't say that I would be contributing to the world, of course, but it was a cool team experience at least that
Mhm.
like in the business setting. And then I was like, this is interesting, like business, the quant in general, and just like it got me more interested in wanting to do more at least in computer science and math. And then when it came out, I built LineupsValorant, which lineupsvalorant.com.
Say that again.
Lineups
Lineups Valorant.
Valorant.com. You guys can check it out. But essentially what we do is we compile lots of pictures, kind of like YouTube tutorials, but they're pictures, not videos. And we basically teach you like how to do a lineup in Valorant, which is essentially a technique where you shoot a projectile from behind a wall and make it land in a specific spot. So yeah.
So yeah, it's like CS:GO smoke lineups, CS:GO Molotov lineups, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then like what did you do at the quant internship? Like, was it trading? Was it software? Or was it like operations?
It was just so my official title would be like, I guess more quant research like, but all I did was like, I would sit in Python all day and like make graphs / look at weird stats. Yeah, that's basically what I do all day.
It's like processing data and then like displaying that data. Were you like making recommendations to, like what to do, or was it just like
No, I did not.
just like
I
make
was a
up
high
stuff?
school kid. There's no way that of course not.
It's like, yeah, we should change our strategy to we should trade, I don't know, crypto or whatever. Gotcha.
Yeah. I was not on the trading floor at least.
Yeah. So you mentioned lineupvalorant.com. Like, did you start making that? You started making that in high school, right? But then,
Yeah.
like, what was like the progression like, or like, where did that idea come from?
Right. So I was playing. So this was like I guess 2021 when COVID is wrapping up, kind of. I would play a lot of Valorant with one of my UK buddies in the UK. So time zone difference was interesting, and we had this idea because we wanted to share lineups with each other, but there wasn't, since Valorant was new, there wasn't a platform / easy way to just share your lineup, like share a link. Like what we envisioned was, oh, I just want to share a link to you, and you could see what I mean by the lineup. And because I don't want to upload a YouTube video for you to see what I'm trying to convey. I don't want you to watch a YouTube video to see what I'm trying to convey. And then we also know that like I don't want to clutter like our text messages with just pictures and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, this is like a huge pain point for us at least. So we set out to build a website to do this, just to solve it for ourselves. So we didn't actually market it at all or anything for like the longest time, for like, no, not longest time, for like 3 months. But we made like a little MVP within like 3 months actually, and then we would just use it ourselves, and then we just kept iterating because like we would use it a lot, just for our own purposes, right? Just us two. And then not 9 months pass ever since the conception of the idea, and we were like, the website gets to a point where it looks professional. We've iterated on it so much that we believe that probably the community would want this.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided on marketing it, and by marketing it, we just posted 2 videos on TikTok and Reddit, and TikTok didn't even blow up. It probably got like 5 views, but Reddit absolutely blew up, and like it was the main cover, the top Reddit post.
How many upvotes?
It's our first one was 5,000, and then we posted another one like I think a year later, because we made like a second product, which basically it's not even a website anymore. It integrates into the game, so you can access LineupsValorant in the game. But we kind of made that second product, and then just remade another Reddit post, and that got like 3,000. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like so that was your only. So you did 3 months of like ideation and like just making the MVP, and then you launched it to social media, and then just through like, I guess social media, it just blew up. And like, how did that? I guess first like can you describe like the full product itself? Like, is it just a website? Is it also an app on your computer? Because you mentioned that it also integrates with Valorant. Like, what were like the different ideations and stages of this LineupsValorant.com?
Yeah, I go through the timeline more deeply. So 3 months MVP, and with the MVP, only me and my friend Aiden would use it for the next 6 months, and then we would just iterate on it. So in total 3 + 6 months, so 9 months pass, and we believe, like this is something that maybe the Valorant community wants, so we start posting about it, and aka just 2 posts, and then Reddit blows up, and then our server like crashes. I was like, holy shit, like this is too many users. And then we have to like within like the first day of the Reddit launch, like so many people were complaining like, oh, the website is like deathly slow, like it doesn't even load for me, all that kind of shit, right? And that was when like I had to quickly learn like AWS, like cloud, like kind of scaling, all that kind of shit. So like from scratch basically, because I never touched it before, and that was a really stressful experience. At least this was April my senior year. So I guess a funny story with that is our launch day was the day of prom, and I decided to skip because we were having so much like stress and shit.
Oh.
So
yeah.
I didn't actually go to prom for high school. Kind of crazy. I didn't have like a girl to go with or anything. I was just gonna go with the boys or stuff. So like, at least it didn't ruin a girl's night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a pretty funny story that like I always love to recount that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that being said, I will love to hear your high school stories too. Of course.
Yeah, we can talk about. Wait. One last question before we talk about.
Yeah, we're not done.
Yeah. Wait, can you talk about like the tech stack, or like what did you use to like, I don't know, house all the images, or like house all the stuff and do all the information, just like all the technical stuff.
Wait, do you want me to complete like the timeline?
Yeah, that too. Just like everything.
Okay. So we launch, we get, I think it's like, we get 1,000 like visitors, and then like I think like around 130 people would sign up within the
on
first,
day one.
No, within like the first like I'd say like 9 hours.
Oh.
And yeah, the Reddit post was like crazy. The Reddit post got like a few million views, by the way. So like it only got 5,000 votes, but like it got a few million views. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, anyways, and by the way, this is like global reach, right? So like, what happened was, of course, it blows up in the U.S. first, and then the funniest part was, like, we look at our analytics and then we see like Thailand absolutely blow up. I'm like, holy crap! Like Thailand is crazy. And then we see France blow up, and the French gaming scene, by the way, is insane. It is probably like one of the most sweatiest things I've ever seen. The French gaming scene. Anyways, so I was like, oh yeah, France, I can see that. Okay, so I know nothing about marketing at this point, right? So like I didn't know, oh, I should do influencer marketing, or I should do like whatever. Looking back, that's what I would have done differently. Like maybe I have like Indonesian like influencer or something, and they like promote it or something. But the best part was like, okay, I knew nothing about marketing, right? But the people would do the marketing for me, because what would happen was influencers realized that they could blow up by using our name. So
How?
Basically like people would make videos saying like, hey guys, are you guys struggling with lineups or stuff? There's this new insane website, and like they would just do the marketing for us essentially, because they would get so many views for like recommending our lineups website. And since we made it so like, the front end, by the way, is insanely like it's probably my proudest like front end, like at least what, like back end could use a lot more. Like I learned the cloud and all that kind of shit in like basically 2 days. So back end is like kind of weird, but front end is just pure like polish. And like when you look at it, like I'm sure when people display it like TikTok and stuff, people know like, oh, it's like definitely like professional, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, so we launched that. For the next year, we were like, okay, like damn, like we're just kind of just chilling. This is like freshman year of college now, so I'm just like dealing with Penn now.
Was Aiden also the same age as you, or?
He was actually a year younger, so he was in senior year of high school.
In Europe, right?
Yeah, in Europe. He ended up going to Imperial College, which really great college in the UK. So that's really cool. But okay, a year passes, and the website just grows, and Indonesia, Thailand, France are the big ones in my head, like the top 3, that like I didn't expect to blow up there, but like it blew up. And the real reason is because they don't speak English. So when I see content about LineupsValorant, and it's like in some language that I don't know, I'm like, holy shit! Like that's
that's really cool.
Yeah. So it also puts into perspective like how little each of us are, like, or at least how big the world is for me. That's
Can you expand on that? Like how small you are and how big the world is. Like it would like affect people that you would never expect, and you're like, wow, like that was a whole level of like, I don't know, layer of just community interaction that you did not anticipate.
Yeah. Like having never spoken, French or Indonesian or Thai, right? And then seeing that kind of content, I'm like, holy, like, it's gotten to people that like I will never be able to talk to even, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like,
I can relate a lot to that, just because like when I made my leak code video, and I mentioned like Nepal in the video, and I got like a few comments from like people in Nepal saying like, hey, oh, that's so cool, I'm also doing leak code and I'm from Nepal, or
that's
just
sick.
stuff like
That's
that.
sick.
And I was like, whoa, did not expect that. That was really cool.
That's sick.
Gotcha. And one last question before we talk about like maybe more of a conversation between me and you, but can you explain to me like the tech stack of everything? Like,
yeah. I guess we haven't finished the timeline.
Okay. Still do the timeline.
Okay. So the year passes, boom, it grows. Influencers make content about us, and I know nothing about marketing, but they do the marketing for me, which is like the best kind of marketing in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't have to pay for it. Anyways, so a year passes, and we were like, we should make LineupsValorant in the game as an overlay. And I mean, I hope you guys know what an overlay is, but essentially you press a button, like a sequence of buttons on your keyboard, and like a kind of like a website looking, but it just pops up onto your screen. LineupsValorant just pops up onto your screen, and then you can like toggle it on and off. But yeah, that's actually what an overlay is. But yeah, we basically brought LineupsValorant into the game, and we had a really cool feature that we had was we displayed the pictures in the top right corner. So then you could like it's like a cheat sheet at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a pretty cool product. We actually did zero marketing on that. So all we did was on our homepage of the website, we just said, "Hey, we made this cool product, LineupsValorant overlay. Check it out." And that's it. It only has like I think last time I checked it was like around 10,000 downloads. But it's probably because I don't actually like actively market it. But pretty cool stuff. It was like a fun like overlay project kind of cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yeah, and then okay, tech stack. I think that finishes the timeline for that. Now it's just like steady, like kind of grows a little, churns a little, but I don't really care if it churns a little or grows a little because like it's just like it was I guess it was like a high school project and it's just like it's just passive now. Anyways, so tech stack, we use Python Flask, we use MySQL database. What else? I mean front end we didn't use React at all actually. We used just raw JavaScript and HTML, CSS, but raw JavaScript. Is there anything else I'm missing? Eventually, like, we started using services for, like, security and all that kind of stuff, like Cloudflare. I don't know if that counts as, like, tech stack, but, yeah. I don't think there's too much more. It was just simple, like, I was a high schooler, so.
So, like, when you, like, cooked this up, like, how did you learn to do it? Like, did you watch a video on how to make a website and you just like copied it, or like how did you learn all this?
Right. So I guess we could go to the timeline before this then too. Before LineupsValorant, I made a really shitty website where you would be able to find COVID vaccines like centers in Portland, because when the COVID vaccine started first rolling out, it was actually pretty hard to like there would be lots of Survey Monkeys sites that lets you sign up for, hey, like we have this time slot, sign up for a COVID vaccine here, or there'd be so many sites like in terms of like not websites but like sites to visit in person, like in person sites, and basically I just made this website that alerts Portland people, hey, a vaccine slot opened at Portland, Southwest 1355 address street or something, you know what I mean? And it would just alert people, and that was like my first like front end is shit, back end is non-existent as well. All I did was store and I guess like back end was just like a simple database, and I would just store your email and then just blast your email when an update on the website like changed essentially. And I actually forgot how I implemented that because it's been so long. But yeah, if I could, yeah. So I don't remember how I implemented it, but I implemented it, and that was like the first website experience. And by the way, during this COVID time, right? No ChatGPT. No ChatGPT, by the way. So it's like, I would just go on Stack Overflow, essentially. Yeah.
I feel like I also want to get into that, just like making my own websites and like own database, like whatever stuff. So
yeah,
that's really cool to learn about. Is that all you want to share about?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
We I'd love to get to know your high school.
Okay. Now it's time for you to interview me if you want to. Or...
Sure.
Okay. You can lead it.
I mean, okay. Okay. So same question, I guess. Kind of childhood. What led you to UPenn, kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. So my name is Kai. I am a senior at Wharton studying business. I'm from Philadelphia, but I was born in China. So, born in China, moved over to Philadelphia when I was about 1.
Okay.
And lived in Chinatown till I was 10 years old. And then moved out to Northeast Philadelphia when I was, 10 years old. And then lived there since then. And I attended, like, a local elementary school in Chinatown. So that was, like, 80% Asian, half of which are Chinese, and the other half are, like, South Asian or, like, Indonesian people. And then I attended Master in middle school and high school. So that's, like, a magnet school. Pretty good school. I think #1 public school in Pennsylvania.
Oh, nice.
So that definitely like boosted my chance of getting into Wharton. And I grew up, like very low income. I was first generation as well. And I attributed a lot of my problems and a lot of my insecurities to lack of money. So when I thought about like career choices and like what I wanted to do, I decided to choose investment banking just because out of all the different careers, like the one that works with money that
Yeah.
makes money to me sounded like it could compound.
Yeah.
Like that was just the intuition. It was just like, oh, like you work with money, so if you work with more money, then you'll make even more money, right? So like hedge funds, investment banking, all that stuff. Like the bigger the deal, the more volume, like you'll make more money. So that was the whole idea. While compared to like doctor or like engineer, I guess engineer. I didn't know anything about engineer, but like to me like doctor was like, oh, like you get paid per patient, but you can't like operate on like infinite amount of patients. You can't do 100 patients in a day, right? So chose banking, applied to Wharton, got in through the Questbridge match, so that was a full ride scholarship.
Nope.
Yeah, but then like I think when I came to Penn, like I did not expect like the culture of Wharton, and that was like a big culture shock. Just like you see a lot of people coming from banking families or from like white collar sort of families, and my parents like my mom's a lunch lady at an elementary school. My dad's a car mechanic, so like I had zero exposure to like anything, right? Like I didn't know how to I didn't know how to talk or communicate effectively as well, right? Okay. I was talking like Philly slang, like inner city sort of dialogue, and it was a big culture shock. Got pretty distraught and like had a few identity crises like over the past few years, just like, oh, like do I belong here? I feel like an imposter syndrome, stuff like that. But I've gotten a lot more secure within my own skin, so I'm good now. But no, it was really scary, the adjustment. And let's see, and then found like other interests like photography, outdoorsy stuff, and I think naturally just gravitated towards that more. So I'm thinking about pursuing that right after college, and we'll see where life takes me. Yeah.
Dope.
That's the whole gist of it.
Nice. Any interesting like high school stories and like?
Yeah, in high school, let's see. Let me do my
the lip balm.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, in high school, I was involved like in a lot of different things. So I played competitive chess.
Shit.
Yeah, I did swimming. I did ultimate frisbee. I also did long distance running. I also did like Boy Scouts and did a lot of camping. So I think I had a very like well-rounded like high school experience, I'd say. Did well in academics as well.
Yeah.
And in chess I got up to like rated like 1900 by the time I was like in 10th. So that's like about I think 95th percentile of like people under 18 at the time. And right now it's probably around like 90th percentile if you consider like all age ranges.
Okay.
And right now I'm currently like my highest rating on like Lee Chess Bullet is like 2260. So that's pretty good. I think that's like 97th percentile. So yeah, really loved chess growing up. Swimming, that was like the public league. So like we went to a public school and all the other public schools in the area, none of us had swimming pools, so we were all equally shit at swimming. But I did the 100-meter breaststroke and I dominated it. Okay. But that was just against like people who didn't know how to swim. So that was kind of crazy.
And
then a funny story about that was I was gonna do the 100-meter breaststroke, right?
Okay.
Well, the 100-yard breaststroke, 100-yard breaststroke. But my dumbass like thought I was gonna be doing 200 yards instead.
Okay.
So dove into the water, just like did my 100 and I kept on going. Like I hit the wall, kept on going, and then like I just see everyone like I'm swimming. I see like my entire team like just yelling at me. Like I didn't know what they were saying though. I thought they were just rooting me on. So I just went even harder and harder and harder. And then I touched the end of the wall, and this was like at 125.
Yeah.
And they're all yelling at me, and I just immediately turn and I go for the 150, right? Yeah, and then my entire team went to the other side, waiting for me at the other end of the pool. And then like now they were going like this, like get out of the pool, right? Yeah. So then like I touched the wall, and I'm like, oh, like what's going on? And they're like, dude, like it's a 100 event, man. There's no 200 breaststroke. It doesn't exist, right? And I'm like, oh shit, like I really just I used half of my energy to like do the 100, right? Because I was preparing to do 200.
Yeah, right.
And then I was pretty mad at myself And then I looked at the scoreboard, and I got first place.
There you go.
Because
There you go.
everyone in the public league was just so bad, but like I could afford to go for a 200 and still beat them at the 100 split. So that was my
Dang.
funny story.
That's pretty funny.
And then I also did a lot of running. So in 7th grade, I got onto the club, the school club running team, whatever.
Yeah.
I was so shit at running. I remember running my first 5 miles, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. But then I couldn't even run back. It was so bad. Ran the Broad Street Run, which is a 10-miler in 7th grade.
Okay.
8th grade, I ran the Philadelphia Half Marathon. 9th grade, I ran the Philadelphia Full Marathon.
Okay.
And it was a funny story because, after I ran the half marathon, I was so dead, right? But I
Right.
joked around. I said hey guys, to the rest of the team, I was like, hey, I'm gonna run the full marathon next year.
Okay.
And they were like,
Bruh.
whoa, bro, you got it. Holy shit, you got it, man.
Yeah.
And I said it as a joke. I was, oh yeah, I'm gonna do the full marathon. And they took me seriously. And then the entire year after that, I was like, okay, I guess I'm
doing
training
it.
for
Yeah.
a full.
Yeah.
And I ran the full, and I felt really proud of that moment. So yeah, that's my high school experience.
Some good perseverance.
Yeah,
Marathon. That's insane.
yeah.
All right.
I
Nice.
feel like it builds up the mentality of
Yeah.
hey, I can do hard things and I can just go through it. So I didn't really run at all in college, just because I was working out and trying to get big and bulk up.
Mm-hmm.
But I started running again last semester, and I just ran a 30-miler, just out of the ordinary. Ran a 30-miler.
Shit. Okay.
Very minimal training. Week after that, I ran 40 miles. Just,
In one sitting.
Yeah, one sitting, just
Yeah.
40 miles. A few weeks after that, my friend asked me to run to Atlantic City with him,
Oh shit.
which was 65 miles one way.
Okay.
And we only did 50 miles of it, but I did a 50-miler just with minimal training as well. So
Did you Uber the rest away or what?
no, we didn't. We just didn't go.
Oh,
And then my
okay,
dad
okay.
picked us up because
Okay.
we live in Philadelphia. So
Right.
my dad came by. And it was
My goat.
8:30 p.m. in the middle of nowhere, and then he just picked us up, and we just did 50 miles, and we were like, what the heck, we just ran 50 miles. And yeah, so that's the whole story of my running journey as well.
I like that. That actually, I know you do leadership ventures. That leads into that, right?
Yeah, so I think one of my biggest involvements here at Penn is Wharton Leadership Ventures. It's basically Wharton's expedition/leadership development organization. We don't really call it a club because it's more of a fellowship where there are a very select few of us, but we end up being a part of this organization for our entire college journey, right? And what Wharton Leadership Ventures do is we go on these trips throughout the semester, over spring break, fall break, and short day trips as well. We do day trips such as Venture X, which is hiking in the Wissahickon, or paddling out in Fairmount Park area. We also do intensives, which are mountain biking in the Gunks, which I really like, sailing in Maryland, and a high ropes course in Fairmount as well. And then we also do expeditions. So that's 1 week long, sort of treks in Patagonia, the Atacama Desert, Chile, Ecuador. So very, very, I feel very fortunate to be in this organization, and I'll be going to Ecuador, leaving later today actually. So right now it's Friday, 10:20 a.m. and I'll be taking the bus up to JFK at 3 p.m. So
Dope.
I'm really excited for that. But yeah, definitely my biggest commitment and the commitment that I love the most here at Penn.
Hell yeah. That's good. Interesting. What else? And then I guess future, what? So wait, were you in I guess Philly for most of your life then?
Yeah.
Does that have to do with loving the outdoors / traveling elsewhere?
I think, yeah, so I got into Boy Scouts 4th grade, and literally the motivation behind that was I think I watched too many World War II movies, and
Okay.
I was like, oh my gosh, that looks so fun, just crawling through trenches and crawling underneath barbed wire.
Okay.
I think the scenes of whenever someone is just crawling underneath barbed wire and you see all the mud on their face and it's their entire gun is muddy and everything is everything's jammed. To me, I was I want to do that. right?
Okay.
So I said to my mom, I was like, Mom, I basically told her, like, I want to be a soldier. I want to fight in war. I want to crawl through the trenches and, like, crawl through mud.
Yeah.
And she was like, this is such a weird request for my son, but she asked my reading and writing teacher at Fax about it, which is, like, the elementary school that I went to.
Yeah.
And she said, hey, I think your son should try Boy Scouts.
Okay.
So my mom didn't know what Boy Scouts was at all. And this was, 4th grade. So we moved out to Northeast Philadelphia. So it's, a very white neighborhood. I didn't know anyone. I was, like, probably, like, one of very few Asian people there. And we found a local Boy Scout troop in Northeast Philadelphia. And my mom took me to one of their meetings.
Okay.
Right? And my mom doesn't know English. She doesn't know anything at all. But she saw how enthusiastic I was for, like, something with regards to, like, soldier/adventuring stuff. So she took me there, and I showed up to my first meeting.
Yeah.
And I was scared because, like,
Okay.
I was the smallest kid there.
Yeah.
I was the only Chinese kid there.
Oh shit.
And, like, I also, like, didn't talk much, right?
Okay.
And then, like, they were really kind to me, and, like, there was no bullying at all, but, like, I just didn't know what was going on because I didn't know what Boy Scouts was.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Like, all I said was, I want to fight in a war, and then my mom just said, okay, I found an organization for you to join, and like, I didn't know what to expect, right?
Right.
And then I think 2 weeks later, we went on our, like, first camping trip, and it was, like, whitewater rafting or whitewater canoeing in the Delaware River, and, like, I fell in love with it. I was like, what? This stuff is so fun, like...
Yeah.
I loved, I had so much love for it, like, instantly. And I remember coming back to my mom and my dad, and we would talk for, like, 3 hours straight, like, over dinner, about, like, what happened, what I loved doing. I was like, yeah, like, Mom, like, I went canoeing, and the water just, like, went up, and it hit my face, and, like,
Yeah.
I got wet, but
I love that.
I just kept on going, and like, yeah, I think they were very happy to see me so passionate about something. And then, like, after I talked for, like, 2 hours, right, I'd be like, hey, Mom, Dad, do you have any questions for me? And I would force them to ask me questions.
Okay.
So I could talk even more.
Okay.
And that continued, like, every single month when we went on a new camping trip. Like, I would do the same exact thing.
Oh, shit.
Just, like, say, Mom, Dad, like, ask me what I did. Like, this is what I did. And, yeah, I think that passion for, like, outdoor adventure just transferred over, like, throughout my entire life. And I got a, like, taste of it, or, like, I experienced a new taste of it when I got into photography. So I would do, like, photographing the sunrise, like, every, like, 2 times a week, freshman, fall. Started going out to, like, other countries, like, or, like, other places like Puerto Rico, the American Southwest, like Utah, stuff like that. And I'm very fortunate to have gone on these trips, and I think that just, like, further, I guess, solidified my passion for, like, the outdoors. And I think that carried over into Wharton Leadership Ventures. So, yeah, I'm really happy to have, like, this component in my life of outdoor adventure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I also know, like, what you want to go to Nepal, right?
Yeah. So, I'll be going to Nepal September 14th. I booked the flight ticket already. I'm planning on staying 5 months there, which is, like, which is the length of the visa.
Oh, okay.
And then, honestly, like, one particular reason is I just want to do it. Like, why not? Like,
oh, yeah.
If you could, yeah, like it was just like, why not just do it? I'm also, like, very much inspired by a lot of entrepreneurs, and some of these entrepreneurs are, Jim Simons, who's the founder of Rentec, Steve Jobs, he did Apple, Phil Knight, he did Nike, and what you see, I guess, in common with all these people is that they just went out to the middle of nowhere, like, during college or right after college, and was just, like, out there for, like, a few months, right? Like, so, Jim Simons did, like, a motorcycle road trip to, like, someplace in, like, I don't know, Central America.
Okay.
Steve Jobs went to India at age 19, spent 7 months there.
Okay.
And Phil Knight, he worked, like, some corporate job for a bit, but then he went off to, like, Nepal and, like, other places in Asia, like, when he was, like, I think 24, 25. So.
Okay.
And they turned out to be successful in life. And I'm thinking, like, hey, me going to Nepal should not be that big of a detriment to my overall career path. And like if I end up failing in life, that's because it's me, not because I went to Nepal and like whatever. That's just because like I didn't like, I don't know.
I think it would
hard
only
enough.
help you.
Yeah, or like
I think it would
yeah.
only help you.
There's also that, like I think at least going to like places in the East, like, you know, Asia, stuff like that, you learn a lot about, I guess, yourself in the world, as well as like different philosophies, like, you know, Hinduism, Buddhism, Zen sort of stuff. And I think Steve Jobs, from what I've read, he transferred a lot of like Zen Buddhism to his design philosophy within Apple of like make things as simple as possible, really focus on the core functionalities, and like just deliver a superior product. And
Yeah.
you also see the same thing for Notion, which is like, you know, like the software
Right.
note-taking app.
Yeah.
But like Notion, I read about the guy's like founding story, but he raised like $2 million, company completely failed, and then
Oh God.
he didn't even study computer science, but everything just completely failed. He studied, I think, cognitive science and philosophy.
Okay.
Everything failed, and he was like, shit, like I still want to work on this product, but like, you know, like obviously it's not working.
Yeah.
So he goes to Japan, spends 4 years there, living by himself. He built the entire product, like
What?
all by himself. He built Notion by himself at this point, because like everyone else was just fired, and he just restarted like from just him. Like, you know, he is like employee number like 1, whatever. But yeah, he just built the product, and he took a lot of influence from like Japanese culture of like, I don't know, make things as seamless as like, he wanted to make things like as like he wanted to make all the functionalities like disappear into the app, but like it also does everything. It's like
Right.
you don't see it, but
Yeah.
like it will always help you out whenever you like ask for it. And like, I think that was like the philosophy for like Notion, and I think that design philosophy very much matches with what Steve Jobs wanted of like, hey, like I want this iPod Touch that does every single thing of like music and like all these other different apps and camera and stuff like that. And I think that's what the Notion guy wanted to do. Like I think his name is Ivan Joe or whatever, but
Okay.
he was like, hey, like I want this to do Google Docs, Google Drive, Google everything, every single like note-taking type of functionality all in one seamless,
Yeah.
like they're just like blank page, blank whiteboard, honestly.
Yeah.
So I also think like there's a lot to learn in terms of like design philosophy, like Eastern religion, stuff like that, Buddhism. I also have a particular interest in the outdoors and like, you know, outdoor gear, outdoor adventure. So I think Nepal is like the prime location for that, just because there is all the highest peaks in the world are there, like all 14
Right.
peaks, you know, like
Yeah.
all the 8,000 meter peaks are there. The mountaineering culture is insane. All the world's best mountaineers are there, and like I want to climb Mount Everest at some point in my life. So I think pulling up to there and just like seeing it for myself and saying like, do you really want to do this, Kyle? Like, how are you gonna like work towards this goal? I think having seen the actual thing would like, I guess, like further solidify like my vision for myself in my life. So I think Nepal is good for that. And then what else? I also just think like I also want to become an adventure photographer, and like I wouldn't mind doing that. And I love photography, and I think, I don't know, there's something about like being independent, being alone, being in Nepal with your camera and just like vlogging or something. Like there's a certain, I guess, like adventurous appeal to that I think everyone can relate to. Like, hey, I just want to break out from society and just like try to do things my own way for a bit.
Okay.
And like I want to experience like that type of independence for a bit, just because, you know, I've grown up in Philadelphia, I've attended all these schools and stuff, but I never had the opportunity to like fully do something of my own volition, and like that's fully independent. And I think pursuing the climbing bum or like vlogging or like nomad lifestyle like for a little bit would be something that I want to try doing at least once in my life.
That seems like you'll take away some cool stuff from being outdoors there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to learn. Although like I
Yeah,
am
there
like
is.
I am giving up a lot on the table, you know, like recruiting.
I wouldn't say like in the grand scheme of things you're giving up too much. So I think it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, like
Grand
Yeah.
scheme. Grand scheme of things.
yeah. It's like hard to like think about.
Right. Yeah.
Like, oh, like is this the good decision for me? Is this the right decision? And I think also part of my decision also rests upon like what I observed from like other people. And I think at least among all the investment bankers or like consultants or like MBA candidates here at Wharton, I mean like I think everyone knows this, but like people often get burnt out from like typical finance consulting jobs and even software engineering jobs, to be honest. And like they end up doing like their MBA, so they do like 2 years in banking, 2 years private equity, 2 years venture capital, 2 years MBA, and then they figure it out from there.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you either see that person go back into finance consulting or they pursue their own startup, right?
Okay.
And I thought to myself, I was like, hey, Kyle, like, if you did banking and you followed this route, chances are you would probably burn out, do your MBA, and then do your own startup afterwards. I don't know if I would see myself going back into finance consulting, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like Kyle, like, okay, you would do your own startup, but what startup would you do? And I think with a lot of MBA candidates, I see a lot of them doing like ed tech startup or like a small apparel startup or like AI startup, technology startup, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like for a lot of these people, I'm like thinking to myself, you don't need consulting or your MBA experience to do an ed tech startup. Like maybe you need it to raise money, but you don't need it to like do the actual like education technology / tutoring services. You just gotta like do it,
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, okay, like what startup would I do? And I was like saying like shit, like I'll do a YouTube channel, I'll do photography, and I'll build an outdoor gear company. Like outdoor gear company, because it's more like financially viable, while like, being a photographer is like way less like tangible in terms of like what you sell in your product and all your expenses and stuff. So I was thinking like, okay, like at the worst case, so there's like 3 cases for like what I want to do, right? Worst case is like I'm just like a mountaineer climbing bum and I make no money at all, right? I think I'd be happy about it if I still like am able to provide for myself. Like I'd be happy like just being in the outdoors my entire life. Second is like I build a social media following, I become a photographer, I do a YouTube channel, and I make decent money enough to like make a name for myself, but like obviously it's like less than banking or like consulting, but it's a good amount of money. I think I'll be happy with that too. And then third is like I build my own company. I have my YouTube channel becomes the marketing arm of like my company.
Yeah.
I sell actual gear. I sell actual clothes. I sell like all that cool shit. And that is like very financially lucrative if I do it well. And I just thought to myself, I was like, hey, like if I would do this as a startup idea, then like it would be best to do it when you're really young because mountaineering requires athleticism. It requires making a name for yourself. It requires risk taking, right? And I think if you don't take risk, then like people wouldn't want to buy your stuff because I think
Red Bull gives you wings. Right?
Yeah, like people buy Red Bull because it's like whoa, like the athletes do that. It's like insane, it's so cool. Like people buy Monster Energy because like all the heavy metal, I don't know, like concerts, like singers be doing like some epic shit with it, and I think that's the same thing with like outdoor gear. Like the reason why people buy outdoor gear is because one, I don't know, like functionality, stuff like that, but also like the feeling of adventure. And if the founder didn't go on an adventure, then like why should I buy it?
Yeah.
In my head, like that's the reason. So it's like I have to go on the adventure, and that's the only way to build a successful like brand because apparel and clothing is like very much like a commodity in my opinion. Like there is room for innovation, but like a lot of it is like the feeling that you give to the user, and I want to give the feeling of adventure, so I have to do it myself as well.
That's good. Wait, as long as you do like what you want, that's kind of all that matters too.
Yeah, and like I just see like the outdoor boys and like all these other YouTube channels, and I'm like, damn. Like,
I saw that channel too.
Yeah, I'm like, damn. Like these guys are making money, and
that could
they're
be
happy, and I'm like, I want to do that. So started this YouTube channel. Currently, I'm not making any outdoor content, but like I'm just like figuring it out as I go. I'm trying to learn how to talk better. I'm trying to learn how to edit better, and figure out like my own like I don't know space within this YouTube like thing here.
Doing well so far, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have to like edit better videos and stuff, but I mean, as long
you get to, bro.
Yeah.
You get to.
Yeah, as long as I'm improving 1%, each time at a video, or like I feel like I'm improving, or like my thought process, my workflow is like 1% faster. It doesn't matter like where the 1% improvement is. I'm happy with it.
Wait, okay. One thing about that mindset I like, but there's also, I feel like, in my opinion, at least it works for me. Instead of thinking, oh, as long as I feel like I've gotten 1% better, I've told myself that I know I've gotten 1% better, and like that makes me want to like know how to get 1% better the next time.
So like basically
And,
like, be
like-
be more assertive with the thinking.
Yeah, like essentially like I just like instead of saying I feel, I started thinking, oh, I know I got better or something like that.
Yeah.
And even if you didn't get better, if you say that to yourself, like I feel like you will get better, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Like
yeah. So more assertive, more confident.
yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times like I mean I've gotten a lot more confidence since freshman year or since high school, and I would say like I'm overall like pretty confident, but definitely like there are times when I get scared, like I feel very insecure with myself, and I think that does come out like whenever I say like, hey, like I think I'm doing well, or like, hey, I don't know, like that video was okay, I guess, and yeah, I tried to be confident, but definitely it's hard at times. So yeah, being an assertive thinker is obviously good on paper, and like you should definitely try to do that like as much as you can. But like yeah, I still run into those like ruts where I'm like, hey, like I don't know if this is gonna work out. Like
Yeah,
I'm literally
I get that.
try mountaineer in Nepal. Like I've never like been independent by myself. I've never done mountaineering.
Yeah.
My YouTube channel only has 1,140 subscribers, which is honestly
Which is
really
great. It's absolutely great.
It's like insane.
It's really good.
'Cause,
Yeah,
like-
it's actually good.
I only started taking it more seriously 2 months ago,
Yeah.
and 1,100 is like insane. So
That's truly insane.
like
Like
actually, yeah.
actually insane. That's actually insane.
Yeah, off of like making like Zoom recording videos and slideshows and OBS recordings on my laptop. So yeah, I'll try to like I mean it's a whole like process, but I think if you look at all these other YouTube channels, like
Yeah.
Mr. Beast started making like Minecraft videos and like Call of Duty Black Ops videos, and like those videos were so shit, right?
Right.
But look at where he is now. He just like worked hard. He was consistent, and he just aims to be 1% better in every single way. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. And I guess the one thing that's better than getting 1% better each day is just like knowing how much more percentage that you can get.
Yeah, I think.
Like I feel like that's even more important.
Yeah, at least with like YouTube, like content creation, like the ceiling is like infinite.
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
But like with banking, like it's way more structured. So like your ceiling would be like top bucket, or like go into private equity, or go into hedge fund, or go into like someplace after that, and then like I mean it's also very lucrative as well. But I think at least with content, it's so variable that like if you do it well, you can probably do better than a banker, just because like banking, like at least like this is what I was thinking. If you make a good video consistently,
Yeah.
then like your channel will grow and you'll make money from it. But if you make a slide deck and you make a good model consistently, like half the time it gets thrown
Right.
away.
Right.
Right? So like
yeah.
so in terms of like bang for your buck, or like bang per time and effort spent, you get a higher yield from YouTube than you would from banking. At least that's my thought process.
I get that. Yeah.
But then like the thing is like with banks, like they pay because like they have a lot of money. They're a very large organization,
Uh-huh.
so they can afford to give you a lot of money for your like time and effort spent.
Yeah.
While with YouTube, it's way more scrappy. It's like you're trying to make that money off of like ad revenue and like literally like views, and it doesn't come from like a pool of like cash that like
Right.
YouTube has, and it just allocates like every single person, no matter how good or bad that they're doing. So
Right.
so like I think, yeah, it's definitely a lot more like you have to prove yourself a lot more in the YouTube space, I think. But then again, like I'm not too sure. I think you have to prove yourself in like both spaces, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. YouTube is interesting. I feel like YouTube is interesting. Because I don't think I saw this demographic, like the top 3% of YouTubers make like $15,000 per year.
Yeah, it's not.
Like, and that's top 3. Like it's 3%.
Yeah.
Like
It's scary, bro.
like
it's a harsh industry, you know.
That's kind of insane. So.
But then also like top 0.1% of college students get into banking.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I feel like everything is like, as long as you do good things, the world will reward you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess one more thing about like that, like feeling that like, oh, if I don't do banking, like I'm behind, or like, oh, should I just do something on my own? Like, so I think, and I was actually told this by Jerry Lee, some cool dude.
Who's Jerry Lee?
He is a content creator on Instagram and LinkedIn, but he basically makes content on like career, jobs, all that kind of stuff. And he told me, like, at least from his perspective, going to UPenn is like, everyone just needs to have one thing that gives them enough, like, gives them the credibility to leverage in society, at least. And that could be an Ivy League school, that could be a job like, you know, big tech like Google or like McKinsey or something. But for people like us that have gone to UPenn, he feels that there isn't the need to also work at like a big name like McKinsey or something.
To become a content creator, or to like build your own like thing, like
to just for like your future in general, because like as long as you have one big name on your, like, big name for your credibility for the world will like know what it is, and then they will associate you with, you know, quality essentially. But you only need one. Like, there isn't, like, what he's saying is like, when he looks at a resume and he sees like, oh, I've worked at Google, Facebook, you know, or I guess Meta, like, you know, OpenAI, whatever, like, you know, he knows like this guy is just as good as the guy who also just finished like 1 year at Google, or he looks at a resume, he's like, oh, this guy is from an Ivy, like he already knows he's like competent. Mm-hmm. Like, you only need one big name on your, I guess, like, resume for credibility. And like, you know, of course he makes content on jobs, resumes, all that kind of stuff, like on the daily. So
yeah,
it was pretty interesting to hear from him that like you don't need to chase the biggest thing every time, I guess. And we're already here.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like,
so.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, I mean, actually, I don't know, but definitely like a lot of people at Penn would be like, get into Penn, transfer to Wharton for the name, and then like, let's see, go into BCG, or like go into like some investment bank, and then go into a top private equity firm, like let's say like TGP, or like, I don't know, Blackstone, or like some private equity firm, and then be like, okay, I need like the Stanford or Harvard MBA, and then they go back into the industry and they become like, I don't know, like 40-year-old executive pulling in like $5 million a year, stuff like that, which I think does sound really good on paper, but
yeah,
I think like for me, like that doesn't really fit my, like, I don't know, ambitions. Like I want to make a name for myself. I still want to like do cool things. I just think a lot of what people do is like chase the money and like the fame and like the title, but then like the job itself isn't super innovative. It's just like managing other people and like proving, like having like, you know, the years of experience to like show why you're proven for that job. But I think like maybe the job doesn't really need all that experience sometimes. I'm not sure though. I could be wrong, just because like I'm not in that industry right at all. But yeah, but I think like with content creation, with like everything else, there's like way more like what you did before is directly correlated to your skills now, you know? Like if you're a runner, every single run mattered to like how you're running now.
Yeah.
While with like, I think
yeah,
maybe with like making a slide deck, like I think the first 20 slide decks that you made definitely contributed to your like, you know, slide deck skills now, but like I feel like the next 100, like it was just like a repeat of like the same quality, same everything.
Yeah.
At least that's what I'm thinking. I'm not sure though. What are your thoughts?
All I think about is like, as you get better in your banking job or whatever job, like it's like linear growth. But as you get better on anything else, it's exponential growth.
Oh, okay, so just higher.
That's how I think about it. That's how I think about it.
Yeah, yeah, and then Yeah, but like I was very much like I really much wanted to do banking coming into college. So I think for me like that was like very large switch of like, hey, I guess this is not for me. But like yeah, I think I often think about it because I read about like Wall Street Oasis and I see like, hey, I'm a corp dev, or like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm an associate making 300K a year and everything, and I'm like, damn, like that's a good number.
Right.
I low key want that, you know. So I think it's very hard to like distinguish what you really want to do, especially when there's like when you see like this path of like banking and like 2 years, 2 years later you'll be making this money, 4 years later you'll be making this money, 5 years, 10 years, stuff like that. And that sounds really good and all, but I don't know. Maybe it doesn't entice me as much as it did before.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Wait, what are your career goals, or like what are you thinking about doing?
I guess this kind of goes back to like startup world. Right now, I guess the story is in 5th grade. I read this quote: "Imagine the cure for cancer is hidden in an uneducated child." And when I read that quote, I realized like, holy, like, there's so many people out there that could get an education, that could be just as smart as me, but or like have like the resources slash like ability to be able to do a job slash code something in like Python or something. There are so many people like out there that are able to do this, but they have to worry about something else, or or they just can't go to school, for whatever reason, cost, time, whatever. And yeah, that quote got me thinking, and I was like, oh shoot, like all that kind of stuff. And that's I guess now what I live by is like I want to build cool stuff, right? At the end of the day, that's all I want to do. But a big thing is like mobilizing more people to be able to do what they want and realize what they want to do. And I think that's a big thing, because I think there's so many people that are like, oh, I want to like build something, and then they just can't, or something like that. That being said, now I'm thinking of like building like an educational game that teaches you basically how to like self-actualize, like could be computer science, could be like biology, or maybe cure cancer one day, who knows, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. But anyways, for I guess the startup realm, that's kind of what I see myself wanting to do.
It's like edtech slash like
gaming,
some AI,
yeah.
some gaming component.
Yeah, I would like gamified, I guess. Gamified edtech. That's kind of where I see myself. Cause I want to gamify like really, really high level education. Cause I feel like the gamified experiences right now, like you won't like learn past what you need. Like okay, how do I put this? Like the education you need to be able to build like a website slash whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like that barrier, like education games only get you to like here, and like to get to here is like you have to immerse them so much more. You have to make them want to get there. And how do you do that? You make a really immersive experience that with an interesting emotion slash story slash like give the player like a reason slash why to keep going forward. And right now, I guess the good games that do that, they don't actually educate, of course, like VALORANT. I wouldn't say I'm learning computer science from VALORANT, but like if there was a way to capture the ability of VALORANT's like amazing like game design or something, and then project it onto the education space essentially.
So I guess like what I'm thinking about, an example for like leak code.
Yeah.
You do like a 5 versus 5 like easy problem showdown. Be like just like 5 versus 5, like I don't know. I think like the gamification of like let's say computer science would be like hackathons, leak code contests. I guess like maybe building your own thing, like that's also fun. But maybe like Khan Academy as well, like giving points for like someone like learning a certain data structure or watching a video. So like how would you improve like that? like within like that sphere of learning? Like where would you see yourself building a product within that?
Okay, so this is something I noticed about myself, which I think I want to be able to build something that kind of aligns with this. Sometimes, okay, so there's YouTube Shorts, then there is, like, you know, the 10 to 20 minute, like, fun videos that you watch. Like, it could be, like, you know, bloopers, it could be, like, you know, BTS, like, behind the scenes, or, like, you know, there's so many, there's, like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This kind of content where, like, it's 10 to 20 minutes, and it's just, like, pure fun. It's, like, people laughing, or it's, like, you know, maybe someone's playing Mafia, or, like, a Mafia game or something, you know, something like that. And then there is, like, the 10 to 20 minute educational stuff, and then there's, like, the long form, like, very long form, 30-minute plus, like this kind of content. 30 plus, and you know, I guess the video might turn into like 10 minute snips, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how the video will turn out, but long form educational. I don't really watch long form like fun. Like if I'm gonna spend 2 hours watching a video, I'd rather like, you know, watch it on something that like is mentally stimulating. Right. But for me, when I watch those 10 to 20 minute fun videos, I'm like totally immersed. I feel like it's super easy to watch. It's like it's truly like if I go onto YouTube and I click one of these videos, like I'm just there. I'm just there for 10 minutes, and it's just amazing. And then if I'm clicking a video that like, oh, the newest DeepSeek model came out or something like that, right? I'm like 5 minutes past, I'm like, bro, like I feel like I'm wasting my time or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want, and then there are some channels that actually mix the education and immersion, where it feels like I'm watching a video for fun, but like it's actually also somewhat like educational. You learn like some, you know, interesting
like
data structure,
like Wendover Productions, like channels like that, where they like infographic channels. So it's like
I haven't heard of that one, but
it's like basically like nicely made like animation movie or something.
Yeah.
But they also tell like, hey, like if you were here, what would you do? Well, guess what? This scientist did this and blah 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 blah. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. So that's essentially like what I want to do. I want to immerse people. I want to immerse myself, I guess, at the end of the day. But I want to immerse myself into this really amazing content that I find is educational or like societally fun.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And how I'm thinking about it right now is like maybe it's a first person shooter that ropes in the idea of war, like tech versus tech essentially. And that could integrate some tech. Yeah.
I was thinking
that's how I'm thinking about it.
I was thinking like, oh, you're a soldier and there's like a monster and there's this like maze, and it's like you gotta get to this point as fast as possible, and it somehow teaches you Dijkstra's algorithm along the way. It's like, hey, we gotta start navigating through these different rooms. Like don't go like, oh, like we just went down this path. Like, oh, we have to backtrack now. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That could be something fun to explore. Gotcha.
And hopefully that will be my next 5 to 10 years. So that's how I see myself.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I see. I feel like, yeah, I think for my next 5 to 10 years, hopefully I don't ever want to recruit for like traditional jobs. If I do, then like I will. But in an ideal scenario, I make it as a YouTuber.
There you go.
Yeah. If I make $20 a day within my first year, I'm honestly pretty happy about that. Because that can sustain me in like a country, and just like I can go from there.
Oh, that's true.
And then I'll also do like online tutoring, all that stuff, just to make side income. And then I want to get really physically fit to prepare myself for like all the mountaineering stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to like basically follow in the footsteps of Jimmy Chin, who's like this Chinese American adventure photographer, really famous guy. And I really look up to him. So try to do that as well, but also follow in the footsteps of Yvon Chouinard, who started Patagonia and like Chouinard climbing equipment, and then making like apparel, making soft goods, which are like clothing, jackets, stuff like that, but as well as hard goods, which are like climbing devices, carabiners, belays, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely gonna be a very hard thing to do just because this market is pretty well defined, and like the room for innovation is like, I don't think there's that much room for innovation for like climbing gear or like stuff like that.
Okay.
And this comes from like me talking to about 20 mountain guides that have used this gear over and over and over again. So
Interesting.
but I think the apparel side is more interesting to me just because when you think about all these different outdoor gear companies,
Yeah.
they all have their identities centered or originating from like, let's say, South America, America, California, Europe, places like that. But there hasn't really been a outdoor gear company that has its identity fully based in Nepal mountaineering. Like the North Face does touch upon this, but the North Face is ultimately a company from California, right?
Right.
But I think in the current Himalayan companies are all purely Himalayan, and they don't really have that big of an international presence yet. And I
Right.
think there might be some opportunity to like create a brand that connects both identities together really well. And like that person could be me, like going for that goal. It's definitely very ambitious, and it's very it can change like within the year or so.
Yeah.
But like to me, I feel like that's like the gap in like a brand that's like out there. Like, oh, like this is actually hardcore mountaineering,
Mm-hmm.
Nepal, everything. And even if I don't climb the mountains myself, maybe I can like work with other people that could do it or figure something out there. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. I think you could definitely get a really cool brand going.
Yeah, and like even if the brand is like super asset light, like it's just like Shopify e-commerce, like my design on a shirt, like I think that'll make me happy.
Right.
Although like the end goal would be to like have my own warehouse
Yeah.
to like be like shipping out product and be like, okay guys, I did all my mountaineering and like now I'm 30 years old.
Yeah.
Now I can come back and I have a company now to work on. Cause like you see that with Yvon Chouinard, who did Patagonia.
Yeah.
At age 28, I think he started his company, and he's just selling like climbing tools out of his van, right?
Okay.
You also see that with the guy who started Montbell. So Montbell is a like Japanese outdoor gear apparel company, and the guy did mountaineering from age 21 to 28 as well, I think.
Okay.
And then he started selling like sleeping bags, jackets, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And now Bell is like one of the biggest outdoor gear companies with presence in Switzerland, the US, and Japan. It's known for Japan because like the founder is Japanese.
Right.
So they dominate that. And then also like you just read about all these different companies where the guy just made the product while he was like out there camping.
Okay.
And like maybe I can do something similar as well. So
Yeah.
and I think
Write your own story.
it adds to the brand image too. It's like holy shit, like this dude, like he built it while he was out there because like he had to make it for himself,
Right.
And we'll see what I end up making, and like maybe it'll just be shirts and like my photo on a shirt, but like that'd be kind of cool. And like I'm also, even if I don't go into like the hard goods route of like making climbing equipment, I wouldn't mind going into the soft goods route and also becoming my own like fashion designer or like my own like something within like fashion and outdoor gear and outdoor apparel, just because like I'm very much inspired by Virgil Abloh, who did Off-White.
Oh, okay.
And like he had a quote that really resonated with me. It was like he said, everything I do is for my like 12-year-old self or something like that. Like everything he does is to satisfy his own inner child, right? And then also like Phil Knight, he also had a quote. He said my advice for young people is to never settle down for a career. He said like he's like never go for a career. Instead like seek a calling, and when you find that calling, it will like push you to like
Always want to do it.
Yeah, it's always wanted to do it. It'll make the highs feel so much better, and it'll make the lows feel so much more bearable. Right?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Like yes,
Really
like life
good
will be shit, and like it'll be a lot more variable for you, but you would enjoy going through the shit a lot more than like let's say you're going through banking and like your heart is actually like wanting to do something else.
Yeah.
So.
That's actually really good.
Like seek a calling.
That's really good. Yeah.
Same thing with like what Steve Jobs said. I think he said something very similar. He said like basically said the same thing as Phil Knight in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's definitely like I don't like who knows if I'm built for it, you know, but like at least I'm trying.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
At least I'm taking the first step, and like the first step is starting a tech YouTube channel with all my friends, and then we go from there, and then
turn them into mountaineers.
and then just like build a mountaineering company. So yeah,
I like that. Oh, your name also has really cool logo potential, because both end in AI.
yeah.
Your first and last name, so I could see lots of logo potential there.
I thought you were gonna say like artificial intelligence, but AI maybe, but yeah, I think I was thinking about this, and it was like I think there's like a study. It was like people with unique names tend to have unique personalities.
What? Oh, wait, oh yeah.
And
I
it was
I
like-
can see that.
Like basically like oh like if someone is named Brian, it's like oh like that person acts like a Brian. Like I can see why that name's right.
Okay. Yeah.
Like obviously it's not like you know true for like every single person named Brian or Kyle or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was just like the more common names, the people end up being more like less
Basic.
risk taking, more like other common types, stuff like that.
It's kind of interesting.
While people with like more unique names tend to do like a lot more like crazy shit. And
That's interesting.
the study was basically suggesting that like I don't know, having a unique name when you're younger forces you to feel a little bit different while like
Right.
like if like 5 other people at your school is named Brian,
Yeah.
I don't know, you don't feel as unique then.
Right.
And like how that translates into like further adulthood, there's like an effect there. Like, I don't know how like correlated it is, but I think it's true though.
I think it's true. Yeah.
And also like they also say like hey like how you act in first grade also determines how you act as an adult. And like that's like a pretty pretty good correlation. Like I don't know the numbers obviously at all, but
Yeah.
it was like yeah like if the kid in first grade is like very loud, very talkative, you know, like somewhat obnoxious, whatever. Like later on in life, he's a lot more successful because like that person is more confident, more assertive, more whatever. And like in first, let's say like the person is like quiet all the time, and like,
Right.
there might be less of that later on. But also like
Interesting.
people change though. Like
Yeah, people
obviously
change, yeah.
through like different life events, like you know puberty or like college, different life stages. But
Yeah.
the fact that there is some correlation between first grade, like first grade was when they were like saying like hey
There's
like
lots,
there's
yeah.
some indicators for like how they are when they're 30 years old. I thought that was super interesting.
I mean, that's probably because like the environment of how you're growing up, like parenting style,
Yeah.
kind of like the people you're exposed to in first grade.
It really makes you think how like
makes sense.
when you're as a parent, like a lot, like you have to really think about how you're gonna raise your kid from like
Right.
1 to like whatever. But you know, like the first
Yeah.
5 years, 6 years is like already like there's so much like that there's so much stuff that like will affect them that you might not even know about. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
like every micro movement is like important, I feel like.
Yeah, I spoke to my parents about that, and I would like to hear about your parents' parenting style.
Yeah.
But my parents, like before they had me, they read a book on parenting. And
Shit.
they discussed together like how they want to parent me. And
Okay.
you know how like a lot of I guess Chinese parents have like or like tiger parents, tiger moms, like they're like, hey, like, you have to be a doctor, you have to
Right.
do this, you really have to study hard and everything.
Yeah.
My parents chose to do the exact opposite. They're
Okay.
like, whatever he does, we support him, and like it was just that, honestly. And like obviously they did encourage me to like, you know, try piano and like go to Chinese school when I was young and to like put me in like these different things because I didn't know what I wanted to do, obviously.
Yeah.
But they were like, yeah, like once Kai says he doesn't want to do it, and like he has a very good reason for not doing it, we support that, and we just support whatever he wants to do after, you know.
Yeah. That's
And then-
good.
I mean, they're also like a bit. They also wanted me to study hard and everything, and like I guess they pushed me a bit, but like maybe they were lucky because like I also wanted to study, and I drew a lot of satisfaction from like being the fastest and the smartest growing up.
Okay.
But then like after 3rd grade, when I got into Masterman for like 6th grade,
Yeah.
they stopped like thinking about my academics. Like I had
Oh, that's good.
I had full reign of like academics, doing whatever I wanted to
That's
do,
good.
like since I was really young. And I think a lot of that has like given me the confidence to say like I'm gonna go to Nepal, I'm gonna live there for 5 months, and I'm gonna
You'll be fine.
start an outdoor gear company, and I'm gonna do all this. And if I fail, I'm okay with failing.
Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to hear about your parenting style.
That's actually really good. Okay, so mine is like different but kind of similar, but different. So, where do I start? My mom was very tiger parenty, so, and like I discussed this with her. Like we really, like if she wanted to, she would definitely change, but she made a lot of mistakes parenting me up until I was in high school. Actually, to be honest, very tiger parenting, and my dad was sort of too, but he saved me, I guess. In high school, he started taking like parenting seriously, and started actually like supporting me, like kind of like just supporting me doing what I want. So up until middle school, actually, I was pretty like they would kind of shame me for playing video games essentially, but not too much. So like it never got to the point where like, oh my god, I'm never gonna touch video games again, right? Because like at this point, like currently we know what I'm like right now. But like if I played too much or forgot to do something because of video games or messed up because of video games, like they would like berate me essentially. And of course discussed with them after college after high school, and like we reflected and we were like, yeah, that probably wasn't the right thing to do. But in high school everything changed actually, because my dad started thinking that I should they should just give me like more freedom. So he started to just not care about what I did. My mom would care like a lot still, but then my dad would be like just let him go. And then at that point I was like, huh, interesting. I didn't think of that, but like it let me play more video games essentially. But it led me to have the autonomy and think for myself at least. And I think that's a big thing that I guess is in common with like people like us that want to do our own thing, which is in my opinion the best way to self-actualize, because you're just doing what you want.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I don't want to like harp on like Steve Jobs or like Elon Musk, but after reading their biographies, like at least for Steve Jobs, like his adoptive parents just like gave him all the electrical engineering like toolkits and like different toys and stuff like when he was young, and he got really into electronics afterwards. And I think with Elon, like his mom just like gave him every single book to read. And just like consistently just like listen to him, like talk to him about like all these different topics. So yeah. So definitely very like there's a lot that goes into parenting, and like I'm still figuring that out for myself, and like I don't need to think about that right now because I'm not planning on having a kid anytime soon.
Right.
But it's good to like at least think about what I think a lot. What I like to think about whenever I meet someone new, I make a new friend, I form a deeper connection, I like to think about what stuff in childhood or like parts of their lives and like made them who they are now. And there could be like the positive of like traits, like the negative traits, like the neutral traits, or like just what are some commonalities between me and them that have led to commonalities between us right now. So I think it's very just like interesting to think about, and in a way you start stereotyping people, which could be a good or bad thing. But like sometimes like I meet a person and like I hear one thing, and I can like 95% be confident that like they also did this other thing, or that they're also similar to like this type of person I know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So definitely lots to think about there.
It also lets me think, like, for me at least, if my parents were better at parenting, how much different I would be, and if that would be even a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's hard to like.
That's hard. Yeah.
It's hard to like quantify like how good your parents are, just because like I don't know. Like, I also had a difficult relationship with my dad growing up, so that fueled a lot of resentment towards him and like towards people in general.
Right.
So like I was always like antisocial up until high school. No, like during high school, very antisocial. Whenever I meet a new person, I'll like think about, oh, what are they trying to get out of me? What are they trying to like? Very snaky like.
Yeah.
So like I was honestly in a way like perfect for like in a way it was like I won't say it was like psychopathic, but like I was thinking like ulterior motives like all the time.
Yeah.
And then it was only when I got into Penn and I like started meeting new people, and I met like people from different income backgrounds, wealth backgrounds, geography, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I met like truly genuinely nice people who didn't want anything from me, and I like for the longest time I was like, trying to think about like, oh, like why are they nice to me, like
Right.
like what like why, you know? And like for me like whenever I was nice to someone, it was because like either they're like a close friend or like I had to like summon all the energy within myself to like be nice. But then for other people, like them being nice, like that's how they got more energy. Like it didn't cost them any energy.
Yeah.
And like I think that was pretty eye opening to me at least. I was like, wow, like people can be very nice people, and like I shouldn't have so much resentment towards like anyone or towards everything in the world. You know, I have to like, I don't know, be a better person, like have nicer thoughts. So yeah, I think that was a very transformative time for me as well.
Interesting. I think that also has to do with finding yourself.
Yeah.
Because, like, once you find yourself, then you realize, like, oh, like, the world likes this part of me.
Do you think you found yourself, or like, what are you?
I'd say I've found myself completely yet. I'm still trying to explore different, like, avenues of things. Like, right now, actually, for just this semester, I don't know, maybe future semesters, but this semester I joined an a cappella group. They're called Pen 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the stem of it was, I guess the true stem of it was I wanted to know what it was like to make music, make art in general, and hopefully that could get me a different lens on how I would make an immersive experience in my game, essentially. So that's I guess, if I were to try to boil down what the true stem was, of course it's very complex, but if that was the true stem, that was probably the true stem. But yeah, it's been a really great experience. It's been very fun. It is somewhat of a time commitment for sure, because it's like, you know, probably like 6 to 8 hours per week of like rehearsing / like, you know, just thinking about things.
Yeah.
And then like trying to memorize things and all that kind of stuff, right? But so like I've gotten to the point, our show is like right after spring break. I've gotten to the point where most of the songs kind of just like live subconsciously in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see tunes and patterns in like I guess like workflows that just like work, in my opinion. And I'm still trying to articulate it, of course. I'm still trying to articulate what I'm feeling. But I'm getting like I guess I know. I know I'm getting a better sense of creating art that resonates with me, at least. And I don't know if I can create art that resonates with the world, but right now I'm, I guess, trying to learn creating art for myself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good. And like I think that I can definitely talk about that, like the art and everything.
Yeah.
I think, at least for me, like I've always thought about it, like so like I go to school, I go to Wharton, so there's like and there's like finance, computer science, so that's like very technically, I guess, challenging for the brain in a way.
Right.
Like logical computation, also just like work ethic, discipline, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just like going through like sucky things, like having to deal with it. And then I'm also into chess, and that's more of a fun, but also very much logical, cerebral activity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then there's also like photography.
Okay.
And like now there's a YouTube channel where I'm just talking to
yeah.
people, so like that's a bit more creative as well.
Yeah.
And I just think like to like be a very well-rounded person, and like this is just like putting aside the career and everything, but just like your thoughts as a person, I think it's very necessary to have both the creative aspect as well as the logical computational aspect of things.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can't be a full like software engineer that only does software engineering stuff and like, I don't know, plays poker as a hobby and just only that, right? Like you also have to have like some art, some like
Yeah.
other hobby that like music or like complements. That's a good complement to like a logical part of your brain. And I think that like that's what makes, I don't know, I think that unlocks a lot of like stuff in life. It's just like, hey, like, oh, like that's so cool, and you can think about it in like from a creative lens or from a more logical lens, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw like an infographic that's like you only need 5 things, like 5 activities in life. It's like something that makes you learn, something that makes you creative, something that makes you money, and then something that helps you stay fit. Oh shoot, I always blank on it. I always blank on it.
Like
but
community maybe? Learn, create, money, stay fit.
It could be community. Maybe it has to do something with like love. like something that
Like love as in like passion or like romantic love?
something like that. I don't know.
Like which one?
Or like I can't remember this last one ever, dude. But yeah,
So you learn, you create, money, stay fit. Probably love as in like passion, right? I would assume it's passion that like makes you like
I don't think that's
curiosity or like
that keeps you curious.
I mean,
I feel like that
that
fits
fits
with
with
learn.
learning,
Yeah. I think I mean I can Google it. Like it's a I wouldn't say it's a common saying, but like it's not uncommon thing.
yeah. Just like money is obviously career.
I forgot the last one. Yeah.
Staying fit is exercising. Creative is like acapella.
Yeah.
It could be YouTube video. It could be.
I think it could be community. Or I feel like it is something community related at least.
like being with friends, hanging out.
Something like that.
Like
Yeah.
social fun stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Learning
yeah.
is like.
Oh, it might be. Is it social? It might just be like social.
social.
I don't know. I think it's probably just social.
That ties in
something-
love. That ties in
Yeah,
love.
it ties in love. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something
Actually,
like that.
Yeah, I think we only have like 30 minutes left till your next
Yeah.
thing. But like, do you want to talk about like romantic stuff at all or no?
There isn't too much to talk about. My only philosophy for that is, you just gotta be yourself, and just be happy, and then I guess finding your calling and all that kind of stuff like that we discussed before. It kind of helps you build meaning in your life, and then once you have meaning in your life, you kind of like derive that purpose / kind of interesting happiness, in my opinion. And then being happy lets you allow more happiness to come to you, I guess, in my opinion. Like abundance of happiness. But yeah, that's how I think about love. Love is very important. Support system.
Yeah, love
Like,
for family, love for friends,
Yeah.
love for.
Like talking about
partner.
that actually reminds me that I should definitely give a call back home sometime soon.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
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 But what do you think about romantic love?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I've only started dating like very recently, so like. First relationship was in college last year.
Right.
I'm in my second relationship now.
Okay.
But like I think the prerequisite for like romantic relationship is like both parties have to at least have the willingness to like learn from each other and to like treat each other and respect each other, and honestly that, right? And
Right.
like obviously communication is
Right.
number one. And I think my first relationship it went pretty well. It was just that like there were some fundamental differences between us two, and like that kind of made us incompatible.
Just how it is.
And like the fallout was pretty bad for me, but like yeah, it's whatever.
I mean, that means you did love, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yeah,
It's a good
yeah,
thing.
Yeah, I loved
It's a good
her,
thing.
but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
And then I'm currently in my second relationship now, and that's been going really well. Very recently, we started dating, so like a little bit more than a month ago. It was like more official dating, but I've known her like since December.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But yeah, I really do quite like her. She's a really sweet girl, and yeah, I feel like I think like yeah, when you like spending time with another person, and
Yeah.
like, that person likes spending time with you, like that's honestly
That's it.
like what you need. Like companionship. I think companionship is like what everyone is looking for in the end. Like someone to rely on, someone to talk to, someone
Yeah.
to like share exciting news, someone to share sad news. You know.
Wait, I'd actually love to get your thoughts on this, but
Yeah.
what I'm thinking is my philosophy and like I guess love feedback on it. In my opinion, I feel like I need to be friends / like at least not total strangers with them at first, because I know that like I feel like love is just two best friends just falling in love.
But don't you
Like,
think
that's,
like
what
you
I, that's what I heard.
don't you think you can make the friendship within like 2 dates and then
That's
start
true.
to like them more romantically? Like even
Yeah.
like even through the first date you could build the friendship, right?
Yeah.
Like can you date with
yeah.
intention but also build a friendship? Like do you think or do you,
That's the thing.
was
Yeah,
that
that's
mutually
the thing.
exclusive? Like what do you think?
I just don't know what comes first, the dating intention or the friendship intention. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think whenever the times where I did like my friend and I expressed that did not work out.
No.
So like, I also just like don't have like maybe like the riz for it or like just incompatible.
Or just incompatible. Yeah,
Or
that's
I'm just
fine.
unlucky, you know, but at least from like what I've heard from some people, it's like, oh, like when a girl sees you as like her friend,
Yeah. No,
I don't know what the percentage of like you able to successfully to your relationship,
Yeah.
but I mean it's possible. It's just like I don't think it's a prerequisite for every single thing because like you might just like pigeonhole yourself into like a friend circle,
Yeah, yeah.
and like that might be harder to pivot out of that rather than just going straight for the romantic circle and just like going for that directly. And like with both of my relationships, we met. There's an intention to date from the start because like it was through a dating app,
Okay.
right? But then we then built our friendship within like the first month and like
Okay.
became good friends.
Did you know each other before the dating app?
No,
Okay.
not at all. So
Okay.
like, yeah, it was just like, oh hey, like my name is Kai, your
Okay.
name is whatever, and then oh like, do we have any mutuals? Like any mutual friends? Like none at all. Okay, whatever. Just hang out. You're cool. I'm cool. And yeah, just start going on more romantic dates or like more date like settings and then go from there. But I think but then I think like what at least with my two relationships like they definitely do desire the friendship part,
Yeah.
right? But it's just like
You can build it.
the intention to date like has to be there.
Has to be there.
Yeah, before like yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I've only been in one relationship in college. Like, we started off as friends, and then, like, I started catching feelings, and then I said it, and then all that kind of stuff. And then we forgot how to be friends. I think that was the mistake. Like, we forgot how to be friends. Yeah, so.
So like when you say you forgot how to be friends, are you saying like there wasn't like no longer a baseline of like respect, communication, or just like
Yeah.
friendly hangouts?
Yeah.
Like which part of the friendship became missing then?
I think it was just like, yeah, I think it was the respect and communication just stopped. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that's what led to my first relationship falling apart. It was like long distance, so obviously no communication.
Oh, yeah.
Also, it's just like yeah, the respect wasn't there from both parties. I think so.
Yeah.
That ended.
Yeah, just how.
I mean, you live and you learn. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure that we both made our mistakes, and I know I
Yeah.
definitely made mistakes, but
Yeah, I know. I definitely did a lot of mistakes.
what were your mistakes if you don't mind sharing?
I think I could have been more respectful / empathetic / like instead of like projecting too much of me, I think I should have listened more. There. I think that's a big thing. I think that's the biggest thing, actually.
Yeah,
Should listen more.
definitely.
You live and you learn.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I know now. That's all that matters, right?
yeah.
You know less now.
You're more than 1% better since.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what matters. Shall we suggest any closing thoughts to the viewer? And then I think what I'm gonna do is like I'm gonna upload this entire clip, but then I'm also gonna like
Do snippets.
edit
as well.
it, snippet it, or
Yeah.
just like have a more
YouTube shorts.
edited version. No, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of.
That'd be kind of crazy. That'd
Like,
be kind of crazy.
I want to like edit this down, maybe just like remove all the pauses, and then also
Yeah,
like
yeah.
splice it up into like we talk about romantic stuff, we talk about this stuff, we talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't
sounds
know. So like definitely a new style, but
good. I see the vision.
yeah.
Wait, do you know Chris Williamson, like the podcaster?
He's like the white dude from like the UK.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He uploads so many shorts.
Okay, so yeah, he has shorts. He has snippets.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes, and then he has like the full episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I used to watch a lot of him.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was cool, but then like, I still think he's cool.
Okay.
It's just that like I think with a lot of these like podcasters, it's like once they find that niche, instead of like them trying to learn more about that niche,
They're trying to confirm their own beliefs. You think?
something like I guess that's true. But I was gonna say that, but like instead of like trying to learn more about that niche and like sharing more about that, they then become full experts in it, and they just find other people to talk about the same exact thing, and they act like interested. They act like, oh wow, that's so true and everything. And the only reason why they continue that is because like it gets the same audience. It gets like the same views. It's very reliably it very much reliably works. But
It's
I think,
for the algorithm and not
Yeah.
for themselves.
yeah, like it's for them. But I think like at least with like what I want to do with like this podcast-esque sort of thing. It's like, I want to learn, right? But
Right.
I think for them, it's like at that, like, Chris
Yeah.
Williamson is probably a full, like, expert in his shit.
Yeah.
He's heard the same exact thing. He's brought on the same guests, like, probably 5 times already.
Okay.
Like, there's probably no more room for talking about something new. They just say the same shit and just, like, say, oh, I heard this new study, and it just further confirms my own beliefs. And, like,
Yeah.
like, at that point, I just think, I'm like, bro, like, you're no longer the journalist. You're just the, I don't know, like a news anchor at that point. Like you're just there to like talk the same shit over and over and over again. But you're not like out there like doing your own investigation anymore.
Right.
But then also I think with him, like, I watched his like other video of like, it's like, yeah, like, I forgot how old he was, but he was like, yeah, like, I'm 35 years old, I don't have kids, I don't have a wife, and he's like, he struggled a lot, and like he wanted to make this video, he wants to start this channel to like, you know, help men like him
Right.
find their own way of life, and like he wants to like help other people, and that like he also is doing this like for money to like, you know, save up for his family and like find a potential wife, everything like that.
Right.
So also like I can't just like discredit someone for like taking that reliable, safe path of like
Yeah.
content creation, you know.
Of course. Yeah.
Because like, in the end, like for him it's his job. For me, it's like a hobby, right?
Yeah.
So like there's like very much different stakes at play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what I think about for a lot of different like people, like for like maybe I'll fall into that as well. Like all I do is just make tech content and like not grow myself as a channel. Like maybe I'll fall into that, but I mean we'll see.
Hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any closing thoughts on like advice to the viewer, advice to me, advice to yourself, big takeaways from this conversation? Yeah, what were the good takeaways from the conversation, and then like we can talk about like reflections after.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay, so I took away a lot about actually the love part. So I live by like, you know, do what you love, be with people that you love, and there's only like 2 things to do, and then like deeper wise, I like the education stuff, right? But yeah, the big thing that I guess you helped me take away about like trying to articulate myself was like loving, the importance of love, importance of like creativity, and then parenting, the importance of parenting. What else? Your swimming story was really funny, and like I feel like I appreciate the swimming story much more than like you think, in my opinion, because like
oh, for 150, and like everyone's coming to get out.
yeah, because like knowing these kinds of like quirks about people is like, it feels really nice.
Rather than just seeing like their LinkedIn profile.
Right.
Yeah.
It's something that you don't see on the web.
Well, now everyone can see this on the web.
I mean, yeah. Now everyone knows, but it's like, you know, sharing this time and like knowing someone deeper than just, you know, what they are on like their LinkedIn or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I appreciate the YouTube story. Not YouTube story, the swimming story,
yeah.
a lot more than you think. But yeah, everything outdoors, like, it was cool. I already knew a lot about, like, you know, I guess like your journey of wanting to do Nepal and all that kind of stuff. But it was cool to, of course, hear from you again, and like all the nuances of like the difficulties of building your brand, the importance of building your brand, all that kind of great stuff. Yeah, creating content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I can go to my takeaways.
Yeah.
I think for me, like, I think I really appreciated hearing about your background in like Oregon and gaming. Like, I think I very much vibe with the gaming like background. Like, I've also been into gaming a lot, and then also hearing about like just like how you had like this problem, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna just build something to like work on that, and then hearing about like, you know, the COVID vaccine website, and like hearing about how you started the LineupsValorant website with a friend, and it was just like to like solve pain points in your life, or solve pain points in like the communities that you've observed.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like, I really want to take away that like proactiveness of like saying, okay, I see something, what can I do about it? I'm gonna just go, you know, go after it. While like I think with me, like I sometimes just skirt around it, or I just like ignore it, be like, hey, like whatever. And I really appreciate that like you have like that like type of mentality, and I want to have some of that in my life. And then also hearing about how you built Lineups Valorant was really cool. I want to learn like software a lot better. Like I do leak code and everything, but like I need to actually learn software engineering. And I think like at least for my notes, like this is a good way for me to like say, okay, if he did it in high school and like he did it without ChatGPT, I have no excuse to go for it myself. Like why not go for it, right? And then yeah, I think we definitely had a good conversation on parenting, love, as well as like the five, like what's it like the five things of like what makes a good life or like something like that. Really appreciate that. And then like also your thoughts from Jerry Lee on how do you like evaluate a person off of a resume, or like what should be like the basis of evaluating someone. And I think I thought a lot about that. It's like, oh, like at what point is chasing the title not worth it, and you should then like be your own like person instead of like being a part of this other organization or this other club. And like I think that starts off with like a lot at Penn, like, oh, I'm in Wharton Investment Trading Group, I'm in the finance club, and now I'm going to PJT, and now I'm doing private equity, and I'm going to a hedge fund. Like at what point are you chasing the pedigree versus you're chasing for the knowledge?
Yeah.
And like I think a lot of people do chase it for the knowledge, so that's a good thing. But I think a lot of people just chase the name, and that might not be the best way of approaching life. So I appreciate hearing that from you.
Yeah. We also talked a lot about just investment banking and like career and like how we should think about.
Yeah.
Like we're more fine than we think, in my opinion. That's a big takeaway. Yeah,
also just like, I mean, I don't think we spoke about it a lot, but like just the existentialism of like living only one life.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like, what the hell do you even do? And, like you want to do video gaming / education / helping other people out. And I want to do like outdoor adventure and having fun. And I mean, we both want to make money, obviously.
Yeah.
I think the fact that we only have one chance at life makes every single decision way more like, I gotta go more all in, or I gotta like commit, and if I fail, be okay with it, and like just pivot afterwards. So definitely a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Let's end the video.
Nice.
Alright, if you are still watching, you've watched 2 hours and 3 minutes of content. Good on you. And I'm gonna end the video right now. Wait, do you wanna say bye?